What's going on, everybody? This is Zephyr Chung with Iris Diecast, and today I'd like to review this 118 Aston Martin DB7 Vantage by Maisto. This is one of the older Maisto products, and it's been discontinued for a while, so it's not all that well known among collectors. I recently picked up this car for $25 used. It's in a mint shape without a box, and I'm pretty happy with it. So the Aston Martin DB7 Vantage. It's a mainstream GT car by Aston Martin that preceded the DB9. It may be because the DB9 was in production for such a long time and made many appearances in movies, but the DB7 isn't really as popular as its successor, the DB9, here in Korea. However, the DB7 is actually a really significant car in Aston Martin's history. The DB7's development started as the MPX project under the Ford Motor Company's supervision, and they've used the modified Jaguar XJS platform, which is also the reason why many experts criticized the lousy aerodynamics and dull handling of this car. So the DB7 shares many of its parts with the XK8, and it also uses steel chassis instead of the commonly used aluminum that Aston Martin traditionally used. The prototype was finished in November 1992, and the car was first released in 1993, with the reputation of its predecessors, the DB4 and the DB5. This car was a huge hit and ultimately helped Aston Martin get back on its feet. Aston Martin produced 7,000 units before discontinuing this car in December 2004 and replacing it with the DB9. So here is the front of the model. You can say that the modern Aston Martin design language started with this car. It looks pretty similar to the DB9, and it has a really sophisticated design for a car developed in the 1993. Actually, the design was based on the Jaguar F-Type prototype designed by Keith Helfet, who also designed the XK180 concept car and the XJ220. Ford canceled the F-Type prototype, and the car was transferred to Aston Martin. Then Ian Collum modified the design to its final result, which is why this car is the design turning point for Aston Martin. It's a Jaguar design, and Aston Martins weren't so fluid and elegant back then. They were more boxier and masculine. But looking back from now, maybe that design shift was a huge success after all. There are three color options for this car: green, like this one, silver, and dark blue. Mine is in green, and the paint job is really gorgeous. It's got this metallic feeling to it, and really the color is just so beautiful. It's not the tree-like green, it's got this jade-like glow. It's really nice, and I definitely recommend getting it in this color. And here are the headlamps. It has its merits and its drawbacks. As you can see, the lamp is pretty good looking from a distance. It has well painted gray bezels, which is the base of the headlamps, and it has plastic bulbs back there, albeit with pegs inside them. And they also made an effort to hide the pegs. It's shifted off to the side over here. However, there are some minor finishing shortcomings. It gets blurry. As you can see, the headlamp edges, they're not perfectly round. It's kind of rough. But really, for a budget car, this headlamp is really good enough. They have also used plastic parts for the fog lamps and the side indicators down here instead of just painting them on. And again, the lines and the shape of the lamps are a little bit rough, but note how they got the little patterns on even a small lamp like these. And here is the front grille. It's really well made actually. I might even say that it's perfect. The chrome grills are fully open, which means that you can see through it. And usually cheaper budget cars by Maisto and Barago has poor finishing. You know, the grills are often crooked. But for this car, it's perfectly straight and it's really well made. And the grills underneath, the license plate, they are blocked. But it's hardly visible anyway, so I'm fine with it. The Aston Martin logo is a sticker. It isn't printed onto the car like modern Maisto cars, so you have to be careful with it when you're cleaning the car. It might tear the sticker off. The opening parts gap up front is not that great like most budget cars, especially the front line over here. You can see the gap here is a little bit big. From an angle, you can even see the engine room from inside here. So, but this is a common thing among cheaper cars. And here is the engine bay, and it's also well made. It's not the single piece engine you see on Euromeister produces, and the plastic quality is not that great. As you can see, the plastic here and here, it looks a bit cheap, but they did do a fine job with the paintwork. And interesting enough, this car has supporting beams, and it's pretty fun. I'm not really sure if it would do any good holding the hood up once the hood gets loose, but anyway, it's a fun feature. Now this model is the DB7 Vantage, which is the first Aston Martin production car to use a V12 engine. It's a 6.0 liter, 48 valve V12 engine producing 420 horsepower. Manual DB7 Vantages could reach a top speed of 299 km per hour and a 0 to 100 time of 4.9 seconds. The DB7 Vantage was so popular that upon the release of the Vantage, the sales of the regular DB7 declined rapidly and was discontinued later on that year. Maisto only produced the DB7 Vantage version, and you can get the regular DB7 by Giloy. Here is the side of the model. It has a really long front end. It has a long front end and a small interior cabin compared to the long size of the car. And as I mentioned earlier, the DB7 has really smooth lines, as you can see over here, and it's even more explicit than its successor, the DB9. While the color of the vehicle is really beautiful, Maisto cars have a rather thick paint job. And by that, I mean that it kind of covers up the body lines. Like this gas cap over here. You can see that it's hardly visible, and it's kind of covered up by the thick paint job. Maisto use plastic parts for the thingy over here and the door handles. The plastic quality isn't all that great, but I'm happy that they use a separate part instead of just painting it on. And here are the rims. They are nicely made. You have the disc brakes back there. And again, the plastic quality of the rims and the disc brakes isn't perfect, but it's not bad looking. And here is the interior. A lot of Maisto cars have the problem of small door opening angles, but that's not a problem with this car. It has a pretty large door opening angle, so you can get a look inside the interior. And the doors open outward like many older model cars. That means that the hinges are exposed explicitly, and the interior is finished in a green cream two-tone, which is a really weird color combination. I mean, I like green as an exterior color, but green in an interior color with cream. I mean, it would have been alright if it was mainly cream with green accents, but as you can see, the interior color is mostly green, which is, the door panels, they're mostly green, the dash is mostly green, even the floor mats are green, which is, unique, let's say. And here is the view from the passenger side. And they did put a lot of effort into the center panel. It's really elaborate and well detailed. Let's get a closer view in there. Yeah. And it even has the tiny Aston Martin logo at the top and the clock. The paintwork is really neat and clean. The black paint with the air vents and the buttons. And yeah, most of all, the wood trim is done really beautifully. It's real looking and gives a real premium look to the interior. And here are the seats. Like I said, I would have, felt it was okay if, like the green accents to it, but yeah. And here is the rear of the car. Again, the Aston Martin logo is a sticker. You have chrome parts for the trunk lids, and the rear lamps have some pegs inside it. As you can see, the DB7 logo and the Vantage logo is printed onto the car, and the exhausts are open, and it's kind of poorly finished in chrome, but yeah, we'll go along with it. And of course you can open the trunk. Weirdly, this car has a tiny trunk space. You can hardly fit my finger in here. And I'd expected a larger trunk room since this car is so long and has a small interior cabin compared to the car's length. So that wraps up my review on the 118 Maisto Aston Martin DB7 Vantage. In terms of quality, I would say that this is one of the better Maisto cars in both exterior, interior, and the engine room. Of course, it isn't comparable with higher-ended cars, but for a Maisto, it's really well made. Also, this is one of the fewer DB7 castings, and since these are pretty cheap, I think it would be a fine car for many collectors, and yes, I would definitely recommend it. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please click like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon in a future video. Thank you.